has once again been re-emphasized.
Thank you, Dr. Egerton. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Randy Cash, who is here from the American Legion. Thank you, Mr. Cash.
The American Legion is our nation's largest wartime veterans organization, and our concern is for all veterans who have served their nation. We are here for support for those veterans. We are thankful to the V.A.A. Medical Center for allowing us the opportunity to be here and to share this time today. We are grateful to all of you for being here, and we will continue to support our nation's veterans in any way we possibly can. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. I also want to introduce Ms. Lois Harvin Raven. Lois is a partner with us, and she's also a very prominent leader in the community serving veterans. Lois works 24/7. So, Ms. Harvin Raven.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Lois Harvin Raven. I'm the Director for Durham County Department. It's a pleasure to be here and to have the opportunity to share with you the county's relationship with the Durham V.A. Medical Center. As you might imagine, the Durham V.A. Medical Center is a pillar of medical care, mental health services, and rehabilitation services, in addition to other services as well. The Medical Center and its staff have been a key player in ending chronic homelessness in the Durham community. When I read that she doesn't care, meaning she, Mrs. Seekins, I will tell you, Ms. Seekins, myself, and a large number of volunteers annually go out into the community and walk the streets of Durham in the middle of the night looking for our homeless veterans to find and identify them and to help them to move from homelessness to home. I am also privileged to be co-chair of the Greater Triangle Community Veterans Board, working with community partners and the Durham V.A. Medical Center in an effort to improve services to our nation's veterans. When I became aware of the situation at the Durham V.A. Medical Center, as the voice of veterans in the community, I felt compelled to be here today, not only as their voice, their advocate, but also as a veteran who also accessed her VA health care through the Durham VA Medical Center. My employer provides me excellent VA health care services at no cost, but yet I chose to seek my health care here at the Durham VA Medical Center. I made a decision after Ms. Seekins became the director of Durham VA Medical Center because I saw, I believe, I heard, and now I was able to witness the excellent, great health care that VA provides to its nation's veterans. In addition to that, our Chief of Staff, Mr. Goldberg, encountered me back in December and said to me that you've forgotten that you were going to allow me to come out in the community and talk to your veterans. That speaks volumes about leadership and Mr. Goldberg, that they're out doing great things in the community, trying to reach our veterans in order to provide them the excellent health care that they deserve. I am extremely proud to stand tall with the Durham VA Medical Center and telling you that they are providing the best care here at the Durham VA Medical Center. So I really thank you for this opportunity to share my experience in working with the Durham VA Medical Center, and I can tell you, as I said, as a veteran who is receiving health care here, I came because I believe that Mrs. Seekins and her staff were doing everything to change the culture of the Durham VA Medical Center in order to enhance the quality of care that each veteran deserves here at the Durham VA Medical Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. So that concludes our official statements, and so now I would like to open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Zachary. Why hasn't there been a search plan?
That's high.
Goldberg answer that question?
We have had busy nights before. This is one of the busiest emergency rooms in the entire VA system, and we always look for ways to treat the patients who are waiting for care. I would perhaps describe this as saying we have reviewed our search plan and found ways to improve it and make it better.
Yes, sir.
John Camp, ABC 11. I have just a couple of questions, but one is kind of more mechanical. I'm trying to understand more about the veteran that was on the floor. You mentioned your staff a number of times going over and helping him into a more comfortable circumstance. How is it that he kept getting back on the floor if you were putting him in a circumstance that was comfortable enough to meet his needs? Does that make sense? Why did he keep getting onto the floor if you were addressing his needs in an adequate way?
Speaking with the veteran, and also, as we said, we reviewed our security, that the veteran was finding himself wanting to reposition on the floor for comfort. He was sick, he didn't feel well, and I know that we placed him in a chair. He sat, he fidgeted a little while, and then he moved himself to the floor. Again, then we gave him even a more comfortable position with a blanket and a recliner, which he was comfortable for a while. And then once again, he took the blanket and repositioned himself on the floor. What I can say is my staff responded within 90 seconds to 2 minutes to talk to him, help him understand that we wanted him in a more comfortable position in a chair. So veterans make choices just like we make choices.
A quick follow to that. One might say, didn't you have a bed that he could lie down in?
As I was describing, it was a very busy ED. We had 50 patients. We had 23 back already in the exam rooms. Each patient is clinically triaged, and so for his clinical triage assessment, he was in the waiting room waiting for his turn.
Well, one quick follow to that. You mentioned appropriate wait times. What were their specific wait times? How long were they in that waiting room, each of the veterans in question?
Each of the veterans in question. I will ask Dr. Goldberg if he can comment on that, about the clinical assessment and what's appropriate.
When patients present to the emergency room, we use a standardized assessment tool that's used by emergency rooms throughout the country called the Emergency Severity Index. It looks at a lot of things. And patients are triaged according to their severity. And in an emergency room, using triage, sickest patients always come first. If a sick patient comes in immediately, they are seen immediately. And then we move down the triage list as resources allow. What I can say is the 3 veterans whose care I reviewed were in the emergency room for approximately 6 hours. There were slightly different numbers for each one. 2 of them were actually admitted to the hospital.
6 hours. Having been in emergency rooms before, out in the real world, it's longer than I've ever waited. Is that normal here, or you said it was a busy night? What is the average wait time in your ER on a given night?
I can't give you a specific average area. It depends on the problem for which you come in. If you have life-threatening illness, you're evaluated immediately.
Are 6-hour wait times normal at the VA ER?
The wait times will depend, and they're dynamic throughout the day. There are times when patients who are triaged to lower levels of severity will wait 6 hours.
But this veteran who was lying on the floor told us Monday night that he was waiting several hours in pain before anybody could see him, except for someone who's describing the feeling of a railroad spike over.
Yeah. To clarify, I don't think that was the veteran who was lying on the floor that evening. I think that was a different veteran. And I can't share specific details without their permission. I hope you understand that. Part of my duty is to respect the privacy of each veteran. So I can't give a specific answer. He did wait a long time. I can tell you that he was triaged to an appropriate category.
You explained how there are two different stories out. You said that you reached out to the veterans involved. They say they were treated fine with great care, but then you have this family who posts this picture saying that this was not acceptable.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Sure. Family that posted, and then there are the 3 veterans that we spoke to. We have attempted and made contact with all 4 in different means. 2 are through their treatment team, through treatment that they're receiving through the V.A.A. Medical leadership team. And the stories, I believe, of quality care they match exactly what was posted on the initial Facebook post. The veteran who posted, his wife had posted, states in there that they received quality care. So I don't believe there is a difference in that. Yes, as I made the statement in my notes, is that when Dr. Egerton, our nurse executive, reached out to the family that had posted on Sunday to have a telephone conference with them to get details of what their concerns were. Their concerns were wait times and also that there had been an allegation of a rude interaction. So that is what we looked at. Clinically, all of the medical records were reviewed. The triage, was it appropriate, was reviewed, and clinical care and quality of care and the timeliness for the category in which they were triaged was appropriate. Yes, you can get with our public affairs officer afterwards and she will instruct you how to make that request. Yes.
Also have rights to privacy. So what we have done is certainly look at this rude behavior, have taken into consideration what our expectations are for our professional behavior, and have taken appropriate disciplinary action based on that.
What was the rude behavior?
Well, as explained by some of the patients who were there, they said that there was a rude interaction, verbal interaction between the employee and the patient.
You've substantiated that at this point. It's no longer an allegation because you've substantiated it. To be clear, it was a rude action, not a rude an allegation of a rude action.
And as we stated in our opening statements, that was validated by the fact finding, and we've taken appropriate action.
But no longer do we have to refer to this as an allegation, I guess is what I'm clearing up. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the veteran we spoke with the other night did say he was being ignored multiple times by his employer. Was that indeed the case? Was this part of that rude behavior?
That is not a part of what was found by the fact-finding team. We did recognize in looking at the records that all patients got the care that they needed at the time.
Can you help me understand when this patient, the one Brian referenced, we talked with him as well, and when he was out in the waiting room, can you explain what was done for this patient in the 6 or 7 hours that he was waiting to alleviate his pain or make him more comfortable?
I'll let Dr. Goldberg answer that.
I'm trying to intentionally be very careful and not reveal any information that I haven't been given permission to share, and I hope you understand that. Permission by the patient, I want to be very clear. He was assessed when he came in about what was causing his pain, the nature of what it would likely take to alleviate. He would need a physician evaluation for further steps. And based on the way he was triaged and the other patients in the emergency room at the time, it took, in the time frame you mentioned, about that long for him to get that physician evaluation.
Sorry, you said that at least one, maybe two people waited for 6 hours and then they were admitted to the hospital. If they were at a point where they needed to be admitted to the hospital 6 hours later, why were they originally or multiple times triaged as it's okay to wait if they had something that needed to be admitted to the hospital for?
Again, I hope you understand that in order to protect the privacy rights of the veterans we serve, I'm a little limited in what I can say. I can say what goes into the triage assessment is a look at vital signs, the history of the issue that brought you to the emergency department that day, and then following the evaluation, there are lots of recommendations to make. I can't tell you specifically why the two patients were asked to stay in the hospital without violating, the promises I've made to those veterans. I can tell you it was medically appropriate and their lives were never in danger.
You mentioned...
I just want to comment on that too. We're calling it a 6-hour wait time. That's not absolutely accurate. That is 6 hours in the ED to be triaged and treated. So it's not just 6 hours in the waiting room. It is being triaged and then taken back, seen by your physician, tests run, all the things that need to happen in order to either discharge you home or admit you to the hospital. So I want to clarify, it is not 6 hours waiting in the waiting room.
You mentioned the surge plan. Does that include trying to incorporate other area hospitals, namely the one right next door, to wrap them in when you have excessively high numbers in your ED?
We work very closely with all of our affiliates, and I cannot speak for them, but I can tell you that the majority of our physicians work both at the affiliate and also here. Get the wait time down, and again, it all depends on what category. When patients come to the emergency department who really would be able to be better served in their primary care clinics, that creates a backlog and a bottleneck. So one of the items that we've been working on for probably the last 2 years is let's get these patients into the right area. Let's not bring them into the ED or have them come to the ED for conditions which they can get into their primary care provider.
Have you
Considering that, and that is one of the plans. One of the things that we have done is actually working with our patients. They all have a primary care provider assigned to them. Each primary provider manages a team of 1,200. We have secure messaging where veterans can email their physicians directly. They can email their nurses, and all of those are steps that will help decrease our wait times because it allows the patient to be seen in the right setting at the right time.
But not right then when they're in the ED.
When they're in the ED,
when they're at the moment, it doesn't do much for
triage, and we're going to treat patients by severity level. If you come in and you have a condition that needs immediate attention, you'll get that attention. If you come in with, I will just use a shoulder pain that you've had for 10 years, and you've been followed by your primary care doctor, more urgent patients will be seen before you.
Final question, last question, and then we'll break out for any individual.
You said the plan for it had been adjusted. Was that in response to this, or was that some other time frame?
Absolutely. We welcome any opportunity to step back, look at what we do, and see if we can do it better. So we've always been sensitive to the needs of veterans who are waiting for care. I would say this incident allowed us the opportunity to step back and look again. So we've looked harder this week because of this, and so we're grateful to the family for sharing their concerns and giving us the chance to see if there's a way we can do better, and we always want to do better.
Again, I'm gonna comment because I have been here 5 years as the medical center director, and we have worked on many areas throughout the medical center. Surge plans, also decreasing throughput through the ED. We work on making sure that we get our patients discharged timely, because then that frees up the ED because the patients can move through our system. So to answer your question, every single day we're evaluating processes and improving and making changes, because that's how you get better. That's how we are a lean healthcare system. So thank you for that question.
I understand, but is this just another data point at this point, or have you reacted to it with a change? That was my question.
The current search plan that we talked about,
Did you adjust that based on this, or are you just taking this as new information that you're going to use?
we've already made adjustments. And I always look at every time we get an opportunity, just like the McMinimans that brought this situation forward, it's an opportunity to improve veteran care. We're a healthcare system, a large healthcare system. We have very dedicated staff, 3,400 staff. We treat 70,000 patients a year, and this year we will have over 1 million outpatient visits. So every day is an opportunity that we take to improve healthcare. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. That concludes the press conference here. We have some individuals, Jennifer and Steve, that would help kind of coordinate the interview. So thank you for coming out today.